Hi Henri and the team at Village Cellars. Well, it is now October 2020 and it's great to kind of reflect on where we were since I last talked to you. It's now spring and we've been had some challenges of frost, but hoping we're through this period, and the shoots are now about this long. So the last time I talked to you we were pruning the vines, and now we're going through thinning out the shoots so that we have our canopy all set up for perfect kind of orientation of the fruit, nice thin canopy that allows good air penetration. So that's what's happening in the vineyard. You might have just heard Ben, my assistant, clambering down a ladder. We're at the moment blending our 2020 Pinot Gris, which will be bottled in a couple of months' time. So this is always a kind of challenging, exciting time when we bring all the components, all the different parcels, whether it was barrel ferment or tank ferment, together to form this wine. So that's what we're doing today in the winery. And 2020, I guess you're all wondering how it's been for us here in New Zealand. It's been a kind of, I think we've fared a lot better than a lot of other countries, regions. The whole Wairarapa has actually been incredibly busy every weekend, and we've had lots of New Zealand people travelling around wanting to get to know their own country, which has been fantastic. I guess there's a level of low-lying kind of unknown, which we sit here in our little island in the South Pacific and really have no idea how the rest of the world is responding. So it's great to hear feedback from Japan as well about how it is going for you. But in terms of the wines are behaving beautifully. The Pinots are slowly going through malolactic fermentation. They've just started up as the spring starts to warm up. We're converting the malic acid to lactic acid. So we're starting to see how the wines might look as finished wines. They're starting to show a little bit more softness of tannins. The acidity and tannin balance is coming into play, and the aromas are starting to have more definition. And I think last time when we talked to you, we talked about a batch called Kibu. And Kibu is from one vineyard called Di Martina. That's an old vineyard we've had for a long time. And it's a blend of clones. So that is now looking very good in barrel. And perhaps in a couple of months' time, we'll show you some of that sample out of barrel again. But we are really optimistic that we've, come through what could have been a more difficult season. It was incredibly dry for us in the January-February period. But the vine depth, which is now very deep, really enabled us to get through with a canopy that had great balance. So we weren't watering a lot, we just really relied on the deep roots of the vines to carry the fruit through, and that's really paid off. You can probably hear the birds. New Zealand's famous for a lot of birds, and they're all kind of making a lot of noise right now, so welcome to New Zealand. So even though it was a very dry season, we ended up with, it wasn't overtly hot. We started picking around about the same time. It was incredibly clean fruit. So we were able, and it didn't rain at all during harvest, so we were able to really slowly and take our time in the vineyard to pick out any berries or bunches that weren't as we wanted them to be. So pretty excited about 20, and I think that's going to be really nice, because I think we're all going to have slightly skewed, perhaps bad memories of 20, but when we pick up these 20 Pinots in 5, 10, 15 years time, there's going to be, I think, a lot of joy to think about and to taste in these wines, which will be, I'm surely be very well appreciated.